It is the only way to chase the glooms away. Go out no matter what the weather. To go out was to be cured. To go out into the north was to be cured more deeply. To go out onto the shores of Superior was the most profound cure that a century of travelers and writers could think of. Emily Pauline Johnson, a Mohawk poet and stage performer. And so it begins, 1,300 miles, 2,092 kilometers. The SUV is gassed up, the driver water and fed, and we are northbound on Highway number 17, the Trans-Canada Highway. But before we leave Sault Ste. Marie, there is one more location we have to visit. Nestled within Kinsman Park on the edge of the Hiawatha Conservation Area is the first of many waterfalls on the Lake Superior Circle Tour, Crystal Falls. It is considered medium-sized, a picturesque turbulent waterfall that races downhill for 160 feet in a sloped narrow channel carved in granite. There are many natural views along the physical, challenging, steep and rugged rocky climb. It also offers a welcome sturdy staircase that is nestled alongside the raging waters, hidden in the woods. The viewing platforms are designed in such a way so as not to take away from the natural vistas, and it is reinforced with steel, it is said, produced in the mills of Sault Ste. Marie. At the top of the falls, there is a bridge, which is part of the Voyageurs Trail, a 600-kilometer public hiking trail starting in Sudbury, Ontario. It continues to expand and is maintained by the Voyageurs Trail Association. The wilderness-style hiking trail pops up in many sections along the rugged shores of Lake Superior from Sault Ste. Marie to Thunder Bay. If hiking is your passion, you'll find an invaluable resource at info@voyageurtrail.ca. We are now northbound, and there is no looking back.
And they said thunderstorms would end, and everyone would be like, oh, we know that when the summer heat comes rolling in, we'll hit the beach and sing it, let's go, 'cause it's summertime.
Here's a quick safety tip traveling the Lake Superior Circle Tour in Ontario. While driving along the Trans-Canada Highway, you'll see many warning signs for moose and deer. Moose in particular are known to have reached over 1,500 pounds, and if struck can cause serious injury and severe damage to vehicles. Be vigilant, especially at dusk and at night. Moose eyes are large enough to reflect the light from vehicle headlights, and if you see these orbs moving or bobbing along the side of the highway, slow down. Moose have poor eyesight, and when frightened by approaching vehicles, they have a tendency to run toward the open roadway and not back into the forest. From time to time, black bears will appear on the highway. As tempting as it may seem to get out of the car for a photo opportunity, it must be noted that a black bear can sprint up to 60 kilometers per hour and can easily overtake a human. They are wild animals and need to be treated with respect from a distance. Their eyes glow yellow to orange and sometimes red at night. The most important safety tip for all is to pay attention to the signs and do not speed. After all, what's the hurry? You are on the Lake Superior Circle Tour. Enjoy your trip.
And when it's summertime, summertime in the air, summertime, summertime everywhere. Never have to care, so I do hope to see you there with me this summertime.
Just 50 kilometers north of Sault Ste Marie, as you approach a bridge, the forest opens up and your eyes are sharply drawn eastward to the first of many natural roadside attractions, the Chippewa River Falls. It has a serviced rest stop perfect for a leg stretch or a photo opportunity, a picnic perhaps, or you can spend an hour or two exploring not only the falls, but the historic significance of this location as well. Chippewa Falls is easily accessible. It is an intricate waterfall consisting of several twists and drops. During the high flows, the cascade can reach up to 100 meters in width, and in the fall might only be a trickle by comparison. The river drops almost 20 meters over several sets of waterfalls. You can climb the falls from both sides, and overall, it's not too difficult, but it can be very slippery if the rocks and dirt paths are damp or wet. The top of the falls presents some of the prettiest views and can be mesmerizing as the water rushes between boulders and crevices inches away from your feet. Use extreme caution, especially with children when standing or sitting near the edge of the rushing waters. The dangers of a slip or loss of balance are obvious. The Chippewa River flows into Lake Superior at Batchewana Bay, and in the spring and fall, rainbow trout, steelhead, and salmon run up to the base of the falls. The rest area features a significant Trans-Canada Highway plaque noting that it was opened for through traffic in September of 1962. Chippewa River is the halfway point across Canada. Of the 7,800 kilometers, 2,338 are in the province of Ontario. In 1955, after the highway was pushed through, A.Y. Jackson, famed Group of Seven artist, captured the rapids in his sketch titled Streambed, Lake Superior Country. It's now on display in the National Gallery of Canada. He painted here 30 years after the Algoma expeditions of 1918 to 1922 that made the Group of Seven a part of Canada's nation-building history. The Group of Seven were Canadian landscape painters from 1920 to 1933. There are 16 such Group of Seven placards along the north shore of Lake Superior. Well worth a stop to envision through their works what they saw and felt 100 years ago. Ontario Parks is the government agency in Ontario, Canada, whose aim is to protect a good portion of Ontario's natural and cultural landscape, and in so doing, it provides opportunities for inspiration, enjoyment, and education. There are many Ontario parks along the Lake Superior Circle Tour, on or a short distance off the Trans-Canada Highway. Some are on the coast, while others are inland with access to many lakes and rivers. The first one on our tour is Batchewana Bay Provincial Park. It is one of the area's top-rated beaches, long, sandy, and warm, shallow water. It is a day use only, meaning there is no camping. The park provides a number of facilities and services. It's a great location for beach relaxation, boating, or fishing for northern pike, walleye, salmon, lake trout, and steelhead. Whether you spend the day or just stop in for a refreshing swim, it is welcoming for all travelers. Hungry? Need a snack? Check your gas gauge because the Voyageurs Lodge and Cookhouse is your last opportunity for the next 160 kilometers. Get your texts and emails out of the way, as there is sporadic to no service until you reach Wawa. It's a hands-on family business since 2003, operated by the O'Connors. This is a must-stop for all your needs, along with a wide variety of fun items for those souvenir hunters. Their apple fritters are ginormous, and as advertised, you will get hooked. The Cookhouse restaurant is A+. Try the pickerel or whitefish dinner. And for an addition to your outdoor picnic, stock up on smoked lake trout, whitefish, herring, or salmon caught from Lake Superior and Lake Nipigon. Spend a couple nights at the lodge. The rooms are a log decor, themed after the Voyageurs. Relax on 4 miles of Batchewana Bay Beach right across the highway. Canoe, kayak, or take a scenic hike overlooking Batchewana and Pancake Bays. As we leave the Batchewana Bay area and start climbing the North Hill, you are quickly reminded that regardless in which direction you traveled on the Lake Superior tour, don't forget to look back once in a while, or even stop, or turn around and drive back a kilometer or two. The scenery is spectacular and unique in either direction. In the Ontario Parks blog, Pancake Bay Provincial Park raised an interesting question. How did Pancake Bay get its name? There are several versions, and they all point back in history to the Voyageurs, who, by the way, are relevant to the history of the entire north shore of Lake Superior. In the 17th century, they were often coureurs de bois, unlicensed traders responsible for delivering trade goods from suppliers to indigenous peoples in exchange for furs. Later, they were absorbed into the Great West Company or the Hudson's Bay Company. This network of superhuman outdoorsmen paddled cargo canoes 10 to 13 meters long, 12 hours a day for months on end. The canoes were loaded with 3.5 tons of goods, and with a perfected design by the indigenous people, they were efficient, relatively light, made from stretched sheets of birch bark over white cedar frames. The predominant rocky shorelines of the North Shore were hazardous to the light-skinned canoes, and it was a welcomed relief to finally reach the camp on the sandy shores of Pancake Bay. Their next stop and resupply would be the trading post and rendezvous in Bawating, the gathering place, or what is now known as Sault Ste Marie. They celebrated having completed the difficult journey by mixing up all of their leftover stores of flour and salt and fried up a galette, which is similar to bread in the shape of a pancake and sometimes filled with a tasty filling, and thus the aptly named Pancake Bay. As we enter Pancake Bay Provincial Park, we find a modern-day voyageur cycling from Vancouver, Canada to the east coast.
Lake Superior, I guess, has been one of the highlights. I stopped at Thunder Bay. I was doing this ride, or originally planned to do it with a friend of mine, David here on the bike, and David unfortunately got cancer and stopped at the Terry Fox Memorial there, which was sort of a highlight, and went fishing. Well, pretended to fish because David was a keen fisherman, but the lake is amazing. I'm from New Zealand, and I was just working out before, our biggest lake is called Lake Taupo, and it's 12 times smaller in length than Lake Superior, and about 8 times smaller in width, and I just can't get over how big it is and how beautiful it is. It's been fantastic riding along the Highway 17, and only really covering just a small part of the lake. Oh, good luck with the project.
Thank you.
Hope it goes well. You meet that other couple.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Thank you.
Take care,
Bye-bye.
Paul. Paul mentioned that somewhere about a day and a half ago he came across a 70-year-old couple cycling the Lake Superior Circle Tour and asked, if spotted, to look in on them. Pancake Bay Provincial Park was established in 1968 and is over 17 square kilometers in size. It has 5 kilometers of sandy beach with a fragile sand dune ecology. There are 325 campsites, including 160 with electricity. A 14-kilometer lookout trail takes you through the Canadian Shield to a Lake Superior lookout, 32 miles from where the infamous Edmund Fitzgerald met its demise in a fierce storm on November 15th, 1975. Pancake Bay Provincial Park rates high as a stopover or great vacation spot. The 104-kilometer Montreal River empties into Lake Superior at the village of Montreal River through what looks like a crack in the Earth's surface. This opening into the lake is actually an eroded dike made of igneous rock that was injected, while molten, into a fissure and over many years eroded faster than the surrounding granite, creating a steep-walled canyon for the river. It was once a magnificent waterfall, but today the river has been diverted through 4 hydroelectric generating stations, which supply power to Sault Ste. Marie residents and industry. Historically, this river had one of the few known populations of river-spawning lake trout which lived in Lake Superior. Lake Superior Provincial Park preserves 1,608 square kilometers of wild country and 124 kilometers of Lake Superior's eastern shoreline. The park has a 2.6 billion year geological history of intense volcanic activity, mountain building, faulting, and glaciation. The landscape is rugged, with 7 rivers that serpentine their way through the park. It is home to a large moose population. A wide variety of other animals roam the park, most notably white-tailed deer, black bears, and gray wolves. There are walking trails to waterfalls and scenic lookouts, and 8 canoe routes ranging from several hours to several days. The rugged coastal trail follows 65 kilometers of shore and takes about a week to hike. It is rated difficult. Lake Superior Provincial Park is one of the pinnacle parks in Ontario and is maintained by a creative professional staff. The Algoma Visitor Center offers multimedia exhibits and a wealth of historical information. The exhibits on this visit fall under the theme, The Power of the Lake. Audio-visual displays showcase logging, shipwrecks, commercial fishing, the group of 7 artists, stories of early settlers, fur traders, and voyageurs of the Northwest Company and its rival, the Hudson's Bay Company. There are interpretive programs and special events run by the Natural Heritage Education Program. Park staff offer guided tours, kids programs, special events, and guest speakers. They also provide on-site guides to the Algoma Rock in July and August. The Algoma Rock Pictographs is an Ojibwa sacred site and a highlight at Lake Superior Provincial Park, but they are not easily accessible. The red ochre paintings record the stories of generations. There are several rock panels depicting canoes, caribou, a horse and rider, and Mishipeshu, the great water lynx spirit, the underwater panther. With its spiny back and tail, it can whip up strong winds and waves. But it can also ensure a safe journey if treated with respect. Mishipeshu can only be viewed when the lake is calm. Native people may have painted here for 2,000 years, yet the ones visible today are estimated to be 150 to 400 years old. Be cautious. The trail is hazardous in places. The rocks and ledge at the Pictographs are steep and slippery, and the waves unpredictable. A Jesuit missionary named Claude de Blanc told a story about 4 Ojibwa Indians who embarked on a journey to the home of Mishipeshu to take some copper back to their home and use it to heat water. The very second they pushed off and backed into the water with their canoe, the eerie voice of the water panther surrounded them. The water panther came growling after them, vigorously accusing them of stealing the playthings of his children. All 4 of the Indians died on the way back to their village, the last one surviving just long enough to tell the tale of what had happened in his final moments before he finally died. During the 1840s, there was a copper rush. People there had realized the value of copper, which was for the taking around Isle Royale and Keweenaw Peninsula. There was great suffering and accidents that many key people and vessels fell victim to. The steamer Cumberland was lost at the Rock of Ages Reef on Isle Royale. Another ship by the name of Algoma was sunk in a storm during 1885, and 45 people sunk to a watery death in the creature's lair. At its base, there are 35 Indian rock paintings or pictographs that illustrate the story of an Indian war party from the south shore of Lake Superior that destroyed an enemy village near here 150 years ago. Selwyn Dewdney lived between 1909 and 1979. He is considered the father of rock art research in Canada. He recorded 290 rock art sites between 1957 and 1975. Dewdney came to know and respect the native peoples of Canada in his search for these images of forgotten dreams. Thor Conway, a renowned expert on the history and heritage of the Ojibwa First Nation, quotes Fred Pine, a Lake Superior Ojibwa shaman, in his book, Discovering Rock Art. One word, the image, on the rocks is a heck of a lot of meaning. It's the shorthand. It's an effort on your soul by spirits. You become uncontrolled. There is a strong sense you are not alone in this place. You may be humbled by the deep, poignant history swirling all around. It is most sacred to the Ojibwe people. Your humility compels you to pay proper respect. You open a small pouch of tobacco, and sprinkle it onto the waters and pray for calm waters and a safe journey. Fred Pine wisely said, "You only can take out of the Ojibwe culture what wisdom already exists in yourself." Located inside Lake Superior Provincial Park, the Sand River Falls drops 3 to 5 meters in several locations. One of the more popular canoe and camping routes is by taking the Algoma Central Railway train and travel downstream from Sand Lake. Hiking along the Pinguisibi Trail, known as the Sand River Trail, takes you along the river past a series of cascading waterfalls. Pinguisibi is the Ojibwe name for fine white sand river. It was an ancient Ojibwe route between their summer camp at the mouth of the river and winter camp inland dating back as far as 2,000 years ago. Old Woman Bay on the north end of Lake Superior Provincial Park offers excellent photo opportunities, a picnic area, a long sandy beach, and is adjacent to the 5-kilometer Nokomis hiking trail. The mountainous loop takes about 3 hours but rewards you with spectacular views of Lake Superior. There are campgrounds, Rabbit Blanket Lake Campground and Agawa Bay Campground, which have a total of 205 sites. The name for the bay and river come from a rock formation near the river's mouth that resembles the face of an old woman. It is said she is Nokomis, the grandmother of the Ojibwe demagogue Nanabuju. Others call her Lavial, the Old Woman of the Wind. The 200-meter-tall mountain has its own weather from time to time. One moment it is sunny and calm, and in minutes it can be enveloped in fog. Or the bay can whip up a sudden cool breeze seemingly out of nowhere. The horseshoe-shaped bay may naturally catch prevailing winds and giant crashing waves against the mountain. Or perhaps Nokomis, the old woman, may just be calling out for you.